Welcome back, focused learners, to this masterclass explainer. Today, we're on a highly targeted mission. We are demystifying exactly how you can elevate your AQA A-level business exam answers from just good to absolutely exceptional. We're going to unpack the specific mechanics behind those top-tier grades.
So, let's dive right in. Everything we're discussing today aligns directly with the official AQA mark scheme. This isn't just generic business advice, right? It's the exact criteria that examiners are actively looking for to award you those top marks. We're cutting through all the noise and focusing purely on what guarantees success.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start by defining what sophisticated concepts actually are. Then we'll organize them into 4 clear families, walk through some applied examples and context, and finish up with guided tasks for some active practice.
All right, Section 1. What are sophisticated concepts? Let's establish exactly what this term means when you're sitting in that exam hall. Listen closely to this precise wording straight from the AQA mark scheme. It says, the use of sophisticated concepts is identified as a typical characteristic of a Level 5 response. Honestly, that right there is your golden ticket. If you're aiming for that Level 5, this is the ultimate key to unlocking it. It's absolutely not an optional extra. It is a fundamental requirement for the highest grades. So, let's break down what this actually means in practice. Sophisticated concepts are relevant theories, models, or frameworks that you use purposefully to enhance your analysis, even when the question hasn't explicitly asked for them. And the absolutely crucial word here is purposefully. Simply name-dropping a theory? Yeah, that isn't going to cut it. You can't just throw the word Ansoff into a paragraph and expect to rack up marks. You have to use the concept to build much deeper, logical chains of reasoning. Accuracy and relevance are your absolute best friends here. Moving on to Section 2, the 4 concept families. It's time to organize your toolkit. AQA lists quite a few of these, so let's break them down into a nice, neat mental model. We can basically categorize our entire toolkit into 4 distinct areas. First up, models and frameworks. Think things like Porter's 5 forces or the triple bottom line. Second, theorists like Herzberg, Maslow, or Taylor. Third, financial concepts, so gearing, break-even, or investment appraisal. And finally, analytical concepts like opportunity cost or capacity utilization. Now, I know it looks like a whole lot to memorize, but selecting the right tool from these categories is exactly what proves synoptic Level 5 thinking to the examiner. It shows you understand how the whole business operates together as one big machine. Okay, Section 3, applied examples in context. Let's see this theory in action. We're going to prove exactly how these concepts add serious depth to an argument and build those logical chains of reasoning. Let's kick things off with our first scenario, an analytical and financial challenge. Imagine you're faced with a typical exam problem like this. How can we deeply evaluate a firm's major investment in automated production? Watch how we can elevate a basic answer by combining 2 of our concept families. Step 1, we note the obvious. Automated production requires high capital. But for step 2, we apply the financial concept of gearing. By borrowing to fund these massive machines, the firm increases its gearing, which in turn raises fixed interest costs and overall financial risk. Then, in step 3, we layer on the analytical concept of opportunity cost. The capital spent on those machines is now capital that literally cannot be spent on acquiring or retaining top human talent. Do you see what just happened there? We didn't just write, machines are expensive. We built a synoptic chain linking operations, finance, and HR all together. That right there is Level 5 analysis. Let's move on to our second scenario. This time, we're shifting our focus over to human resources and delving into the theorists family. So how do we address critical employee retention issues, say in the service sector? Instead of just throwing out a weak argument like, well, they should pay them more, we can apply Herzberg's 2-factor theory. First, we identify that core turnover issue. Then we use Herzberg to precisely diagnose the problem. We state that the firm has to first fix its hygiene factors. You know, basic pay and working conditions, just to stop active dissatisfaction. But remember, an occasional office pizza party doesn't actually create long-term motivation. To secure real retention, management must introduce true motivators, such as employee recognition, purposeful responsibility, and talent development. Using this highly specific terminology proves you have a deep, evidence-based understanding of the problem. For our third example, we're looking at a strategic global move. This perfectly sets up the application of the models and frameworks family. The question is, how do we evaluate a firm's competitive position when entering a new international market? The absolutely crucial point here is structure.
We apply Porter's 5 forces. We don't just say, it's a tough market out there. We systematically break down the entire competitive environment. First, we analyze the threat of new entrants. Are there local regulations or trade barriers protecting us in this new country? Then, we assess buyer power. Are consumers in this specific international market highly price sensitive, and how does that impact the firm's globalization strategy? By using Porter's model, we provide a robust, structured, and highly sophisticated evaluation of that market entry. It's a real game changer for your answer. All right, Section 4, Guided Student Tasks. This is the active practice part of the explainer. I am shifting the cognitive load entirely over to you for some active recall. Make sure you have your pen and paper ready. Here is your first challenge, and it focuses on Assessment Objective 3, Analysis. You need to choose between a marketing campaign and R&D spending. Think about how the analytical concept of opportunity cost deepens this analysis. Okay, please pause the video now and complete Task 1.
Welcome back. I hope you built a solid chain of reasoning showing exactly what the business misses out on by choosing one path over the other. Let's move straight on. For Assessment Objective 2, Application, please pause the video now and complete Task 2.
Excellent work applying the triple bottom line framework to those environmental pressures. Now, for Assessment Objective 4, Evaluation. This requires a judgment regarding stakeholder mapping and a highly controversial factory relocation. For our final assessment, please pause the video now and complete Task 3.
Fantastic effort today, everyone. You have seen firsthand how identifying the right family and applying the exact right concept completely transforms your exam answers. And now you've practiced it yourself. Going forward, the ownership of your revision rests entirely with you. Always remember, accuracy and relevance are your absolute best tools for exam success. So, I'll leave you with this thought. Looking back at those 4 concept families, which sophisticated concept will you master next to guarantee your level 5 response? Keep practicing, keep applying those theories, and I'll see you in the next explainer.